Hello everyone, welcome to Car Chase Scene, the podcast for movies that takes place entirely in my 2000 Honda Spaceship. I am your navigator, Brendan Welch, and today I am on my way to go pick up my mom, actually, to go see Captain Marvel. So this is the first episode of the podcast, so essentially the way it's going to work is you're going to get basically speculation, some research, a little bit of pre-movie facts and trivia for you on the way to the movies, and then me and whoever's going to go watch the movie with me, or maybe myself, I don't know, are going to go see it, watch the movie, come back, get in the car, and on the way home we're going to tell you how we liked it, and sort of the gist, give you some ratings, and then there will be a portion of that post-movie production that will be no spoiler, and then a portion that will be spoiler full. So we will see how that goes, and I am currently approaching home to pick up Mom. There she goes. I'm sure the gravel driveway is excruciatingly loud. We'll see how the car audio holds up. There she is. Oh, and a Marvel sweatshirt. How perfect. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
That's good. Alright, movie's at 3:15, so we're gonna go. Alright, how are you today?
I'm good.
That's good.
All the rain and mud.
Yes, there's a lot of rain. It's disgusting in North Carolina today, and basically every other day. It's ridiculous. So, icebreaker question, just to get your movie brain moving. What is your favorite movie?
So that's a hard question because I like lots of movies, and different moods would call for different movies.
Okay.
So this is the way that I look at what's considered a great movie.
Okay.
Is if it comes on TV, like when you're flipping channels and you're like, oh, I've got to stop and watch that again.
Oh, okay.
So.
Dang.
Yeah. Or if it's one that you would watch more than once.
Yeah.
Because if it's not.
Okay.
Then, if you just watch it once and it was good, but you couldn't watch it again, then was it really a great movie?
Yeah, I understand that.
So I have lots of them.
Okay.
There's different genres.
Well, since we're about to go see Captain Marvel,
okay.
What is your favorite Marvel movie?
Okay.
Or superhero movie? I don't know if any DC Wonder Woman stuff takes the cake, or.
Yeah, I did like Wonder Woman a lot,
very good.
and I could watch it again.
It's very, very good.
But I would say one that every time it comes on TV, I watch it, and we watched it last night. Ant-Man came on again, the first one.
Ant-Man is very good.
Yes, I love that one, and I love Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. But both of those are like really funny too. Yeah. So of the Marvel movies that aren't necessarily funny, but they incorporate some humor. I love Black Panther.
Okay.
And I'm a huge fan of Captain America. So
yes, I do know this.
There's that one too.
Massive fan.
Yeah. And I like the Spider-Man. What was the last one?
Homecoming?
Was
with Tom Holland?
Was that whenever he said he wasn't going to be a part of the Avengers?
Yes. That's Homecoming.
That one.
Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oops.
No, it's fine. That movie's like 3 years old if they haven't seen it.
I'm going to be bad at that.
Oh, no. You don't have to worry about it.
Look, I have my Marvel t-shirt.
Yeah, it's old. I like it. Spider-Man and Hulk and all that. That's pretty cool. Cool. So that's your favorite movie. So, we're currently going to go see Captain Marvel. I did some research on Captain Marvel. And this is the first, which this one's kind of obvious. It's the first Marvel movie to have a female lead, which is pretty cool. So the character is like actually kind of an older character from like the 60s. But apparently this movie is based off of a 2012 comic book.
Okay.
So that should be pretty interesting. And basically the difference is that in the 1960s and 70s, whenever she was a comic book character, they made her get her superpowers by accident. Like it was some freak accident because she was in the Air Force and something happened and then she got superpowers. Okay. So in this one, written by, I believe it was Kelly Sue DeConnick, I can't remember. She has like a different costume design, which is much less Wonder Woman-y. So if you look at her from the 70s, she's like skimpy clothes and massive boots and like all that stuff. Yes. Kind of like Wonder Woman is.
Boots.
Right? Really big boots.
T-S.
B-O-O-T-S.
Gotcha.
big boots. So all that, and then now in this one, it's like full jumpsuit, like agility work. It's kind of like a Spider-Man suit, but
yes.
For someone. So I thought that was pretty interesting. As like origin story for the character. And so I looked at the writers for the movie, and I wanted you to tell me if you've heard of any of these movies. Mississippi Grind.
No.
Okay, so the two writers are Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck. They wrote Mississippi Grind and a bunch of other ones that I'm about to list off. That's one I actually want to see. It's Jake Gyllenhaal, or not Jake Gyllenhaal. I always get Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling mixed up because they look the same and they do the same thing.
They do not look the same.
They look really similar. Which one was Blade Runner? Gosling?
Gosling, yes.
Ryan Gosling. Okay, so it's Ryan Gosling and somebody else who I forget the name of, and they're poker players. And it's like a Western kind of like modern day
I think I've seen the
movie.
previews for that before.
It looked
I've
good.
never seen it.
Have you heard of the TV show Room 104?
No.
They wrote an episode of that. Have you heard of the movie It's Kind of a Funny Story?
That sounds familiar, but I've never seen it.
So I did some research on it. I haven't seen it either. It's about a teenage boy who, wow, that's so loud. A teenage boy who is clinically depressed, and he checks into an adult mental institution, to like a therapist place to get helped out. Forgive me if I completely butchered the plot of that movie, but that's the general premise of it. So that's another one. So of those, not a lot of superheroes in all that, which is
that's random.
Yeah, it is random. They had a bunch of other credits. Most of them, I couldn't find any superhero stuff, and most of them were further away from an action movie than this is.
Okay.
So, does that worry you? Do you feel like this movie can still be okay if it's not written like a superhero movie is usually written? It's Captain Marvel, so it's already.
It doesn't worry me because it's if you're a superhero fan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That doesn't worry me. I think it's still going to be good.
Yeah, I think it will be too.
So it doesn't have any of the writers from the other Avengers?
No, which is surprising. So, not executive writers. So, Kevin Feige is still executive producer. So, the producers for this are very Marvel. So Victoria Alonso, she produced every superhero movie ever. Every Marvel superhero movie altogether. And then Jonathan Schwartz, I've got the list pulled up. He did Guardians of the Galaxy, both of those for Marvel.
Yes.
So that's perfect. Yeah, I love that. So visually, production side of things, I think this is gonna definitely look mechanically like a Marvel movie. But as far as the writing is concerned, I think it'll actually be better because if you look at the way a lot of superhero movies are written, it can kind of be samey. But if you get these two writers in who've never done a superhero movie before, they're just used to writing really good characters, then I think Carol Danvers, which is Captain Marvel's secret identity, will be more interesting than Captain Marvel. Because you know how there's in some superhero movies the superhero is more interesting than the character?
Yeah.
It's I like it whenever I wish Tony Stark was more interesting than Iron Man sometimes. Which I guess he is in certain circumstances, but
Yeah.
I think we'll like Carol Danvers more as just a person in the world who's on the Air Force and does all these things. So I'm excited for that.
That's interesting.
So I have a question that. Dang, this truck is scaring me. I have a question about the timing of this movie. So the movie's set in what looks like the 90s, I believe. And this movie is coming out in between Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. And there's only two movies that came out between those two. Ant-Man and Wasp, which was last summer.
Yeah.
That are Marvel movies at least. Ant-Man and Wasp and Captain Marvel. Those are the only two. So why would you show this before Endgame and after Infinity War?
So you're saying it's set in the 90s,
like this movie takes place in the 90s, before any of the other Marvel movie stuff has happened, except for Captain America, because that was the 50s.
Okay.
Or 40s. So, why show this movie now?
Well, so, can I say something about Infinity War?
Yes, spoilers for Infinity War. Go watch it, please. Please go watch it. Do it.
So, I knew nothing about Captain Marvel until the end of Infinity War when he calls her.
Yeah.
So, I feel like it's got to be a backstory now.
Yeah, they have to justify it.
Right.
Which I think it's kind of funny that he did call her at the end of that. Because it's in Avengers 1, it's like Earth is being invaded by aliens, but no, we're not going to call her. I saw a meme that had this on it, and it was like, no, we're not going to call her. Then, like, Age of Ultron, he's going to blow up the world with a, like, Middle Eastern country. No, we're not going to call her. And then like, half the world dies. Okay, fine. I'll call her. Like, so I feel like they didn't think, oh, we're going to make a Captain Marvel movie back when they made, like, Avengers 1. Right. But now it's like, well, since we have the character, and they might, like, I'm sure 100% they're going to tie her into the Endgame arc. They have to.
Yeah, they would have to. Does this one have, like, things after the credits?
Absolutely. It's Marvel. It will.
Okay.
We're staying for the whole credits.
Gotcha.
The whole experience. So, since they are showing it now, do you think this is smart to show this movie now? Or would you have, let's pretend we are Marvel. We are Disney. We bought Marvel. We want to make the best superhero movie lineup possible.
Yeah.
We have this female superhero that nobody's really heard, or at least I haven't heard of. None of the mainstream audience has heard of. And Wonder Woman comes out, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Maybe more?
Probably a couple years ago.
Why are we not jumping on the train then?
I have no idea. But I do think that because he called her at the end to introduce a whole new character that's not been on any of the Avengers movies or...
You're right. Not even referenced.
It creates a brand new character and whatever. But I think too... Sorry, the mom's coming out and
you're good.
Looking at everybody around. I think that you have to do a backstory on it. Otherwise, if she would have been introduced even before they need her for this, to save the human race or whatever, you've got to have a backstory. I think this is very smart to do this.
I got you. So my only counter to that is think about Black Panther.
Yeah.
In Civil War, Black Panther comes in the early in the movie.
Right.
Because Bucky supposedly killed his dad.
Right.
And so he's just a character in the whole movie. And then Black Panther comes out, and it's not an origin story. It's after.
Yeah, that's true.
We haven't seen Captain Marvel in a movie yet, which I think is why they're doing this. But I don't know. I think I'm glad that they're mixing up the formula.
Well, maybe this also gives them a chance to do more movies about her too.
Oh yeah, because there's a bunch of speculations about Avengers Endgame, that they're going to be sort of stepping away from the original cast of characters. So like Captain America and Iron Man were probably like the most popular superheroes for that, for I guess our generation of like people that watch superhero movies, and Spider-Man, I guess. But they're moving away from that main cast of characters into more of the little nuanced, like, weird Marvel characters that you've never heard of.
Yeah. Like
the equivalent of DC's Detective Monkey. Do you know about that?
No.
It's just a Sherlock Holmes monkey. It's not even much more interesting than that. So, one thing I want to speculate about is... Wow. Dang, that's a lot of cars. Is about how will this have an impact on Endgame? Because obviously it's going to. We're gonna learn something about either what's gonna happen in Endgame or the Marvel universe as a whole that we didn't know before, because they felt it was important to introduce the character. But I doubt that they would reserve an entire movie and an entire post-credit scene in their biggest movie of the year for just a character.
Well, again, spoiler alert if you've not seen the Infinity War. You know I hated it. I hated the way it ended. I loved the movie
it so much.
All the way up until the last 5 minutes, because I think all superheroes should be good versus evil and good wins. And I do not like the way it ended.
Yes.
So...
I will reserve my opinion.
I know, you loved it. We have had many discussions about this, and he has still not convinced me that it's a good storyline, because I'm hoping that there is redemption in this. That there's going to be some clue in this movie that, okay, so that's how maybe she can save them or bring them back to life or something. I
think that the bigger clue on how they're going to save them is Ant-Man and Wasp.
Well,
Ant-Man and Wasp came out between now and then.
you told me that theory, and I see that. I can see that.
He's going in.
Yeah.
Ant-Man's going in. to get him out.
I don't know though that they would bank
everything
on him because he's
so
he's
weird.
Like a jokester. It would be
He
like
is.
the Guardians of the Galaxy guy.
It's like if Rocket Raccoon
everything on him
was the only well, actually he is the only Guardian of the Galaxy that's left right now.
That's true.
They all died except for him. I don't know. This Avengers Endgame might be the funniest superhero movie ever.
Maybe
because they're
that's
just like
true.
all of the weird and goofy superheroes that aren't good at anything. Finally, they have something they can do. I don't know. I think it could be cool.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I do think that, or I hope at least, there's some sort of tie to it because I don't know. You've researched it. I haven't. But there has to be a lot of people who felt the way I did about Infinity War.
Oh, absolutely.
We walked out of the theater that night,
infuriated.
and I was like, I'm never watching another Marvel movie again. And I'm a huge Marvel fan.
Like
yes,
a month
and then
later.
I did.
But
I'm just saying that it wrecked people.
People were angry.
Right.
People got up out of the theater. They're like, think about the cultural onslaught that Black Panther was, like how amazing it was. There were people in the theater who came so excited to see Black Panther that they actually added more Black Panther to Infinity War after production. They like continued filming.
Yeah.
And so it's like there were people that came into that theater so excited to see their superhero, and then it wasn't Black Panther.
Because
and
amazing.
Then they died.
Good versus evil. And good wins. Good wins. That's what we want to see. That's what superhero movies should be.
Like it is supposed to inspire that. I agree with you there. I think it was still good. We're getting into Infinity War.
I know.
But still, yeah. So I think what this movie is gonna do is gonna tell us more about the villains than the heroes, because I feel like Ant-Man and Wasp was there. Don't worry, this is how we're gonna get everybody back. And this is gonna be but this is what we're gonna have to fight against. Maybe.
Yeah.
Because who knows? I mean, this takes place in the 90s. This is before Avengers 1 has happened, so Thanos could be doing stuff with Captain Marvel's space deal.
Yeah.
Or we could... have you seen the trailer for Captain Marvel? I guess we should definitely talk about the trailer. It's so good. She punches an old lady in the face because she's an alien in disguise.
Yes, I have seen that. Yes, I have.
So the aliens that come to Earth are like... They can like cloak. Are they in S.H.I.E.L.D.? You watched more of S.H.I.E.L.D. than I did. Were there the aliens that could look like whatever they wanted to? I think they're called Skrull. It's not Kree.
I don't think so. I don't remember that being the case.
So she's a Kree.
Like they take on human form?
Yes.
Yes, there was a season
in the end of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
Was that when they were in the weird
the
space
end,
station
though.
thing? Or
it was
just at some point?
Yeah, at some point there was that.
So she's a Kree.
Okay.
Kree are the blue ones.
Right.
Loki's also a Kree. At least from what I know from very minuscule research. She's a Kree. So this is, again, a different cosmic threat. So, like, we could learn something about them, too.
Yeah.
Something that maybe will come up and matter, in the movie that's on the way.
Okay.
So, I think this is going to be really, really good no matter what. I was looking at some of the visuals for it, and it doesn't look like Doctor Strange, but I don't think anything really can.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing's as good as
Doctor Strange. I should have added that to
Doctor Strange.
Some of my favorite movies. I really like Doctor Strange.
Oh, I love Doctor Strange.
And we've watched it several times.
I wish he was less like Iron Man. That's my only complaint. But this is...
You wish he was like what?
Less like Iron Man.
Oh, okay.
His character is very similar. But it worked really well in Avengers.
Yeah.
I don't know. But the movie... So, this isn't going to look near as good as that. I'm fully prepared.
Well, yeah.
This isn't going to look near as good as that. This isn't going to look... This is probably going to be on par with Black Panther for visuals.
Which was pretty impressive.
Well, most of it was practical in Black Panther. Like, the costumes were all, real and all that. So I think this is going to be,
well, and
not the most beautiful movie.
It can be so much more understated because it's a woman superhero, too. This is different than all the other
I think this is going to actually, if I had to pick a tone for this movie, I think this is going to be more like Captain America 2.
Yeah.
With Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, I got to wait till... I got to get behind this one because I don't want to block this charge again. Oh, he's doing it. Okay. I think there's going to be a Captain America 2 with a Guardians of the Galaxy climax. Because the visual style looks a lot like Guardians of the Galaxy, but also like the outrageousness.
Yeah.
I think it definitely lends itself, especially to like a shape-shifting alien race.
Yeah.
That could like think of the possibilities. Like she could be fighting a baby, or like she is in the trailer she fights an old woman. It's like stuff like that, super cool. So I think we're gonna get a little bit of that kind of action. So we're pulling into the parking lot. There's a lot of traffic, so we might cut it short before we hit the parking lot. Thanks, man.
That wasn't directed.
Yeah, I don't think so. So since we're close enough, we're basically in a parking lot. We're gonna do a segment called Hopes and Dreams in the parking space. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna say one thing that would make this movie a 10 out of 10 for you.
To give me some sort
Hope
of
and
insight into the next Avengers movie.
All right, be
Are
specific.
they coming back?
So you want a confirmation that who is coming back in this movie?
I mean, that would spoil it if they said who was coming back. But
you want a guarantee.
I want hope that somehow
in the 90s she's gonna fix it.
Well, whatever power she has.
Yeah, we don't know.
We can associate it with.
I didn't look it up.
Yeah.
I should have.
Yeah. That would make it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And I'm already going into it loving it because it's a woman superhero.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I low-key want to be a woman superhero.
I mean, hey, you can high-key want to be a woman superhero.
Okay.
That's cool to do. My hope and dream. So this is gonna happen. Nick Fury's gonna lose his eye.
Yeah.
It's just gonna happen because it's Samuel L. Jackson. He has both eyes in this movie.
Oh yeah.
So he's gonna lose his eye. I want him to lose his eye in the dumbest way possible. I want it to be hilarious when it happens. Like it's probably gonna be some epic thing in the end. But I think it'd be so funny if it was like he was like putting like a straw in a cup or something and like bent down and like poke yourself in the eye.
Worst.
Something dumb. I think it'd be really funny.
That would totally make him not the great man.
Oh yeah.
What is he considered? The overseer?
He's just kind of, he's like Ben from Lost. He just sort of knows everything, kind of.
Yeah.
But like in a really powerless way. He can't do anything about it. I think it'd be really funny if it was just lame. Oh man. Well, we're going to try to get in the parking lot. Do you have any last words?
Oh, I'm excited.
I am too. We will see you all in a little while. That was good.
It was great.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So, we have agreed 3 minutes is all we can handle before we spoil.
Yes.
So,
I don't feel like I can say too much because I'll let things slip.
Alright, so we got a 3-minute spoiler timer.
Okay.
Starting right now.
Okay.
What was your rating of the movie out of 10, raw?
8.5.
8. Wow, okay. I'm surprised it's that low.
No, that's not low at all. There's never going to be a perfect movie.
I think this is a 9, personally.
I could see that. I'm just saying 8.5 because I don't know that there was anything wrong with it, but to be a perfect 10 is
you gotta do something more. It could be fundamentally good. Okay, I see what you mean. Because, like, what makes this stand out from, like, Superman or, something, or some other superhero movie.
Right.
Kind of thing. Okay. I understand that. I give it a 9.
That's great. Yeah.
Hard 9.
It was very good. Very, very good.
It was very good. So, 2 more minutes.
This is so hard to not.
I know, right?
I think we should stop the timer now.
No, we can do it for 2 minutes.
Okay.
So, let's talk about the character, because I love characters.
Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about the main character, Captain Marvel. What can we say? I mean, first of all, very empowering.
Yes.
This was released on, what is it, International Women's Day?
Yes.
So this is Women's Day weekend.
Woohoo!
This is tilted. There we go. But it's like, it definitely fit for that. As far as inspiration is concerned. I mean, that's an empowering character for anybody, but especially,
yes.
for like such a great, weekend.
I do feel like I could be a superhero one day.
Yeah.
So,
I think we can talk about that. The scene when she fell, or when it showed her falling a bunch. It was that montage of her life on Earth.
Yes.
And she,
I feel like you're spoiling something.
That's not a spoiler. Talk about it. Describe the scene.
I feel like you're spoiling it because that tells, that's gonna tell something. I can't say it. You gotta let me spoil.
She's a human. She's a human. It's okay.
That totally spoiled a storyline.
That's not the whole storyline, though.
But
that's not even that huge of a part of it because from the beginning everybody thought she was a human.
I don't know. I wouldn't have thought.
Have you seen the trailer?
It took me forever and ever to get to that point.
Oh, you didn't watch the trailer. Everybody saw that one coming.
Okay.
No, yeah, that was a big thing. That she like is sort of. She was a human, and like she's only human. That was what was so empowering about the story. She's only human, and so like that you know. But
that's still the good part of the storyline of the transition between all of that.
You're right.
I still felt like you did a spoiler just then, and I didn't do the first spoiler, so.
I think it's about to go off anyways, but I enjoyed that specific scene because they played it twice, and I usually don't like that. Recycled footage is but they did it. There it is.
That is so scary. That makes me feel like somebody is.
No one's pulled us over. That's the spoiler alert.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So now we can spoil all the things.
We didn't say anything in the no spoiler section. Apologies if you wanted a no spoiler review. I gave it a 9. She gave it an 8.5.
Okay, now I can tell you why I kind of felt like 8.5.
Okay.
I can't believe that one of your wishes was
to
see
my hopes and dreams came true.
And it did, and it was the dumbest way.
I was so happy. Okay,
that was the dumbest way to lose his eye.
My hopes and dreams for this movie was I want the way Nick Fury loses his eye to be the stupidest, funniest thing.
And it was stupid.
It was so funny. Okay, so there's a cat that they find in that lab. It was in the lab, remember? So that's probably why the cat's crazy.
Yeah.
So it turns out the cat is some crazy monster that has like tentacles that come out of his mouth that can like eat things and stuff. And it's like Nick's best friend. Like he holds onto it. It's Fury's best friend, so he like holds onto it and stuff. And he at one point is like holding the cat at his face. He's like, "Oh, you're so cute," whatever, and it scratches his eye.
So he loses his eye. And then the cat.
He's like, "Oh no, it's fine. It's just a scratch." And everybody's like, "No, it's not." And then like later on in the movie, oh my gosh. And then he got his eye patch and all that. That was so funny. That was so funny.
So I have to say, if that was in it, I would have bumped it on up to a 9.
Really?
But
that's a half point worth?
I do have to say,
wow.
For my hopes and dream part of it, I do feel like it somewhat hit it because I wanted to have hope that she could come back and do something different than all these other people.
She super can. She's overpowered.
Right.
She is easily the most powerful Marvel superhero. Absolutely. And which that was what was crazy is because, I mean, talk about empowerment. She's the best.
Yeah.
No contest. Like Scarlet Witch and her are the top 2. Scarlet Witch is dead though. She was the one in Avengers 2 was when she was introduced.
Yeah.
She could do mind control stuff. She had the red.
Oh yeah. Red
beams and stuff. No, Captain Marvel's overpowered.
So,
She's too good. It's really good.
All of the different kinds of powers.
Well, yeah, she has like she can fly. I mean, everything she has is based on that beam. She can shoot magic beams, basically, like laser beams.
Yeah.
Energy. She has energy. And so she can shoot out of her feet and fly around like Iron Man. She can shoot out of her hands and shoot laser beams like Iron Man.
Yeah.
She also can breathe in space. She has a suit that can change colors and fly around also in space.
Yeah.
She's too good.
She's just stronger than everybody, too.
Yeah. I don't know how they're going to make it interesting. Because they always nerf people. It's like... it's funny because the way they nerfed Scarlet Witch is they just made her an emo teenager. And like she couldn't make up her mind about anything.
Yeah.
And like that was like, that's boring. Or I mean, it's not... Well, I mean, it was interesting for the character. But like, it made me sad. So I really hope they don't make her just like dumb or something in Avengers to like they have to keep the character, but they do have to find some way to make it interesting because she flew through a spaceship. There was an entire Kree invasion and she flew through the side of a spaceship and blew the whole thing up, and it's like Iron Man can't do that, and nor can anybody else. Thanos can't do that. I mean,
other favorite part would definitely be the soundtrack because
soundtrack was really
it
good.
Was definitely all of my high school.
I actually had only heard the Nirvana song.
Oh yeah.
Out of all
there
those.
There was TLC, Salt
and
Peppa.
the I'm Just a Girl.
Oh yeah. All of the 90s songs. Those were great. And that gave it the Guardians of the Galaxy vibe that I like from Guardians.
Yeah, and I think as far as visuals concerned, it was very Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think it was pretty on par with Black Panther.
Yeah.
I got more Black Panther vibes just because of the way the costumes were done. That was practical.
Especially at the beginning.
They were in Space Wakanda, for sure. That was definitely Space Wakanda. Or like Hala was the name of it. I
feel like you're going to have to get it.
Yeah. There's a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
You guys can't see that way. Thank God you can't. It's stressful looking.
It's
we
all
might
red lights.
We might do the rest of
glaring
this.
Off my glasses.
Yeah, we might do the rest of this from the exit road in the parking lot.
Yeah.
We shall see. So as far as like the message of the movie, it's obviously you can be a hero too.
Yeah.
If you look at what she's doing, like look at that scene whenever, you know, she's on the ground and and there's this thing called the central intelligence, the main intelligence, something intelligence.
Yeah.
Or consciousness or something.
Yeah, something like that.
It's the Kree. It's this AI leader of the Kree people, who's the alien group that she's a part of. So she became a part of them in an effort to basically save the work of this doctor in the beginning of the movie.
Which was saving the Tesseract.
Yes, which was also saving the Tesseract, which that was an interesting thing about the Marvel Universe as a whole that we learned.
Yep.
This is where the Tesseract is.
Right.
Oh, cool. That's how it got on Earth. Gotcha. We don't know how it got there, but I mean, that's enough of a backstory. It's a cube.
The other thing, too, that we talked about earlier is why now.
Yeah.
This, I do think it's genius now.
I do, too.
Because all of us now are Avengers fans, and we know all of these storylines and everything, and that's what makes this movie so much fun, is it's like, oh, that's from this, that's from that movie, that's from that
We got
Marvel.
all these little snippets.
And it brings it all together into whenever the next Avengers movie comes out. I feel like it'll...
Yeah, there's no unanswered questions from before.
Right.
Is what this did.
I like that.
I do too. I think that was really smart. And it didn't feel like fan service. Like Star Wars, so you remember the end of Solo when Darth Maul was there?
Yeah.
And I was like, what? This is pointless.
Yeah.
And none of that felt pointless. That all felt like it mattered. Because I think there are a lot of movies that do fan service wrong, where they're just like, I mean, Solo's the best example of it. Everything Solo did, like, was just all the little throwaway lines that were in the Star Wars movies. They were like, get all those and make a movie out of it. This wasn't that at all.
Yeah.
This was an original story. Yeah. Very original story. The villain changed halfway through the movie.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say a minute ago, too, is how many twists there were. You already knew that she was a human. I did not know that.
That was in the trailer.
It got to that point.
She kept having recollections of her past life or something.
Right.
That's what she kept saying.
But you could have put that to anything because they were messing with her mind.
Yeah, I mean, well, they were messing with her mind in the movie. But as far as people who were just watching the trailer, they're like, "Oh, she's a human that went to space."
Yeah,
that's what everybody immediately thought. But yeah, the villain. So she's Kree, and so you think the whole time, "Oh, it's the Kree fighting against the Skrulls. The Skrulls are the bad guys because they can shapeshift and they're trying to take over the world." Then one of the Skrulls meets Carol and Fury at the house of the woman who was her best friend back on Earth.
Right.
And they have like a negotiation. And then he tells her like, "Hey, we're just homeless because Kree are basically space communists, and we can't, like, we don't want to submit to their government, so they just keep blowing up our planets, and we need to find a home." So that's what the mission then becomes. Oh, she needs to kill all the Kree, and since she now knows, oh, I wasn't originally Kree, they took everything from me, and they take everything from them, it makes sense, they team up, they fight them.
Right.
Really good twist, because, and what's crazy is, like, they didn't spare any expense on the fights beforehand. It's like, the fights with the Skrull were really cool, and you were, like, really rooting against them, and then it completely turned around.
Yeah.
I still didn't trust him for the first little bit, because he was, like, saying, like, "Oh, we're just homeless," and I'm like, I'm waiting on him to pull a gun. It's like, she's gonna tell him it's in orbit, and then he was gonna, shoot the guy, or something like that. And it never happened. No. And I was like, thank God, first of all, that we got, like, a really cool villain. But the science guy was funny. Is that what you're laughing at?
No, the science guy.
Remember, he's like, so they're looking for this laboratory, and there's not coordinates, or there's these coordinates that he can't decipher. It turns out they're vectors of, like, where it's going to be in orbit. You don't remember this? And then she's like,
I'm trying to think science.
He goes, really, it's in orbit? You couldn't have figured that out? And the other dude's like standing there. Yeah. He's like, "You're my science guy. You're supposed to know this stuff."
Funny. And they did a great job too. How Marvel always added in the humor and like.
Oh yeah.
They did a great job with
the
that
personality for the Skrull guy was great. He was
the guy sitting beside me thought it was hilarious.
Yes,
he
that was so funny.
The entire time. It was so funny.
That was an interactive crowd for sure.
It was.
And then she was hilarious too. She's so snarky, like nothing fazed her the whole time. Whenever the lunchbox was empty. So at the end, she's in a fight with the like main Kree villain, and he they're fighting over this lunchbox that supposedly has the Tesseract in it. She gave it to Fury. And so she just has this empty lunchbox as a decoy, and then he, like, finds out, and, she's just like, oh, I could have sworn I put it in there. Like, stuff like that.
She's super tough, too.
Yeah.
Like, I love that, because, I mean, even in Wonder Woman, she was really tough, too, like, the way she fought.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of fighting against, it was her and another guy fighting every single time. I think she only fought a girl the one time.
The very, very end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
well, that's what I really want to talk about, I think it's fair to compare this to Wonder Woman. I don't think they're, by any stretch of the imagination, the same movie. By any stretch of the imagination. They're so different. So. But I think they are comparable in the sense that their mission to be groundbreaking with a female superhero is, that was a goal in making both of these movies. So, how would you compare them? Which one did you like more?
Well, of course I'm going to say this one because I love Marvel.
Yes,
and I love that it's like a continuing story, and it had story before going into it.
Yep.
It's going to be continuation.
It's a link.
Wonder Woman I love too.
It's so good.
I love that movie. But I picked this one just because of all the story before
what it contributes to.
Yeah. And
that's fair.
She was a great superhero.
Yes, she was. Really well casted too. Brie Larson did amazing.
She did very good.
Such a good actor. I don't know the actress's name for Wonder Woman. I can't remember her. She did great too. They're both brilliant actresses. I really like. So this movie was the inspiration of, like, you could be a hero sort of thing. Yeah. Came from that scene where it showed her when she was a kid on the beach and, like, a boy pushed her down.
Yeah.
And then she's go-kart racing with these other boys, and this guy's like, you're not supposed to be out here, and, like, gets mad at her because she crashes a car. She like falls off a bike, and then whenever she's older,
every one of those, she falls down.
Yep, in some way. Yeah. Yes, which is, it's not coincidental. It's definitely, like, symbolism about, like, failure. And it plays that scene and just shows you all the time she screwed up, and it's like and that's just her memories. And so it's kind of like a not important scene the first time you see it, because it's just her in the mind control thing where they're trying to figure out where she came from.
Right.
Then the next time they play it is whenever she's in fighting the Central Intelligence thing.
Yeah.
And that becomes her defining moment of, like, no, I am a superhero. And it's right whenever the thing, like, beats her to the ground, it replays her memories to show her, like, you always fail, you're just a human. And then it plays, like, after each of those scenes, the next, like, couple seconds, if you would have stayed and watched longer, is her getting back up and trying again.
Right.
And so that was just a super powerful moment. And, like, the music that went along with it was great. It was
and she was remembering that whenever she was down.
Yeah. And then she stood up again, and then in the actual reality where she's plugged into the machine, she stood up again.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a good overcoming story.
Absolutely.
And I think that was really, really inspiring.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great.
I loved it.
It was so good.
I would absolutely watch it.
Definitely go watch it.
I'm curious what Caitlin thinks.
I am too. She hasn't seen it yet. Caitlin is my sister.
She's seeing it right now.
Oh, she's watching it right now. Really? Next time I will share her review. Yeah, I'm sure she's loving it right now. So you said 8.5. Other than the Fury thing, what bumped at that point?
I don't know that. I probably should say, like,
9.5.
I should say a 9.5.
9.5. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
My 9.
I was bitter about the whole eyeball thing.
So
seriously.
Yeah. I'm so happy it happened.
And I
honestly,
can't
that makes it a 9.
All the things that you would hope for. That's what. Well,
what was great about it? Yeah, well, I think it's funny. But what was great about that scene too is later on, because he gets his eye scratched out by a cat. That's stupid.
That's so stupid.
Later on, Coulson comes up and he's like, "Is it true that you were being interrogated and you said you wouldn't give them the Tesseract and so they burned your eye out?" And he's like, "I will not confirm or deny the facts." It's like, you got your eye scratched out by a cat.
For real.
Oh man, that he made it a story. That's what was great. Like, it gave so much character to him too.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, do I get to go?
I don't know.
Thanks, CRV. That's fine. I'll go up to.
Just keep your blinker on so they know you gotta get over.
Yeah. I might go to the next. I don't know.
You can't.
We'll make it out.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually. I mean, that was great. I really also. So for me, what bumped at the point? There's a scene where they're flying to try to find the lab and it's invisible. There's no reason for the lab to be invisible. they shouldn't have made the lab invisible. And the reason is because she just goes, disable cloaking, and then the lab comes up, and it's like, how did you know? Like,
yeah,
that was BS. So I called BS on that scene. Oh, thank you, CRV. So that was dumb. And then there was this one line that she said there was one of the jokes that she made where it's like she had no emotion, and I'm kicking myself for not remembering what it is and also docking the movie a point for it, because if I can't remember it obviously wasn't that important. But there was just one joke that she made, and she had no emotion on her face
that, like,
whatsoever.
Dry humor, though?
Well, she wasn't dry humor, though. She was so snarky the whole time and, like, smiling and laughing. Yeah. Like, if it was Coulson that did it, that'd be fine.
I get that.
Because that's his personality. But for her, it just felt really weird and out of place for her to just be like, it wasn't the I have nothing to prove to you. She said some guy was fighting her and said something, and then she had like a really quick, quippy one-liner, and then it just cut back to her face, and she's just like, blank stare, like 2 dots on a line, like nothing. I was like,
yeah.
Okay. So it was like the little breaks were just like, like you didn't need to do that. That wasn't great. But like, other than nitpicks, this was
for sure,
so good.
I'd definitely nitpick. I would say I will change it to a 9.5 for sure.
Because it's great.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe that that's what you said on the way here.
I was actually shocked. When it happened, I started busting out laughing because
crazy.
I was like, I mean, I should have bet on it.
That's crazy.
I can't.
And I would have taken that bet, because who in the world would have thought that's what it would be?
I would have thought that his eye would have actually gotten burned out because he said, I'm never going to give you the Tesseract. And they go,
that's crazy.
Like, no.
Now, the scene.
Oh, post-credit scenes.
The first one.
Yeah.
That one.
She just shows up. That's a scene from Endgame. There's no way that's not in the movie.
It's funny that they put that on the credits, that she will be in.
Yeah, that's so funny. So the first post-credit scene was the Avengers in Avengers Endgame. So Captain America, Black Widow, and the Hulk are in a room, or Bruce Banner, and they're looking at Captain Marvel's, the little Captain Marvel pager from the end of Avengers Endgame in that post-credit scene. And they're like, hey, whatever that thing was doing, it stopped. And they're like, no, turn it back on, send the signal back out. And then it just like, Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow is like, I want to know who's on the other end of this thing. And then the camera just goes, and then she's behind him like, where's Fury? It's like, oh. And she looked mad.
She did. Mm-hmm.
Which was a very stark contrast to how we've seen her in all the rest of the movie.
When she gave it to him, she said only
for emergencies. Yeah. So, yeah, which also kind of makes sense why he didn't use it before, because he's like, no, we got it under control.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the post-credit scene. The other post-credit scene was the cat puked out the Tesseract, because when they hid the Tesseract from the main guy by letting the cat tentacle monster eat it.
Yeah, that was gross.
And then it puked it out, and there you go. That's how they found it, and that's why it's on Earth at the beginning of Avengers 1. So there it is.
Yeah, things that you would. I mean, I feel like they have to be in a room going, what is the most random thing we could put in this movie?
Honestly, that's what I did whenever I was thinking about what I was going to make my hope and dream to be.
That's so crazy.
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, I can't think of anything else to say. I think you can leave this overwhelmingly positive.
Oh, for sure.
I don't feel bad at all not like putting on, like little dissection glasses and trying to like pick apart every little piece of this movie. It was great.
It was very good.
It was so good.
Very good. Made me proud to be a woman.
Yes.
Woo!
So do you have any last words?
I loved it.
I loved it too. Say. Well, this was the first episode of Car Chase Scene. I hope you all enjoyed it. Maybe one day we'll actually be in a car chase scene. That'd be crazy.
No. Don't do that.
Oh, man. Well, thank you all for watching and or listening. Have a good one.
Thank you for letting me be on your first episode.
Absolutely. Bye.